Good morning and happy Friday, my friends. Welcome back to Coffee. Today it's not coffee talk. Today it's coffee nuggets. I'm Coach Roxanne. Coach Chuck is going to be with us today. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends. Welcome to the party. Happy Friday. Again, it's not as sunny as it was yesterday, but it still looks pretty darn nice out. So I hope that you have all been able to get out and get your vitamin D and enjoy some of the warm weather. Amy, good morning. Happy Friday. Karen, good morning. TGIF. Michelle, good morning. I love the sunshine, ladies. I love it. I hope you have now not all of you drink coffee, but if you do, I hope you have your coffee ready to go here. Lisa, good morning. My favorite shirt. Hey, you know what? This is one of my favorite shirts as well, and it was short-lived. We had this shirt made, and we got one order in that ended up being delayed by months, and then this shirt was gone forever. I would have ordered so many of these with so many different sayings. Maybe I need to, that's been a couple of years. Maybe I need to get out there and see if they brought them back. Susan, good morning. Happy Friday, my friends. We have had some awesome talks this week talking about habits, talking about the secret to success, wink, wink. Coach Chuck has been talking about core and some really good moves, chair stretches. So today's going to kind of tie things in together about your habits and where you're headed. Amy, the cut makes your arms look extra amazing. Oh, stop it. I love it. Thank you. Good morning. Let the weekends of baseball and softball start. You know what? And amen, right? Amen to get outside and let the kids run around. Shayna, good morning. Terry, good morning. Kim, good morning. Happy Friday, my friends. Happy Friday. Monica, good morning. Corey, Friday, good morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, my friends, today we're going to be talking calories. So I'm going to wait for Coach Chuck to join us. We're going to get started. I hope that all of you have some plans to get out and enjoy the sunshine. I see 70s in our forecast for the next couple of weeks here in Wisconsin. I don't know where you are, but I hope you are blessed with some warm weather as well. Deanna, good morning. Michelle, I totally missed those weekends. I loved watching Nicole play softball. You know, my son Jacob was in everything, basketball, football, baseball, and it was crazy. It was crazy. So kudos to you guys for keeping up with all of that. Jody, good morning. Janilla, good morning. Happy Friday. I love it, love it, love it. Dun, 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 dun.
Is Deanna on here?
Yeah, She just joined us.
Deanna, I wore this shirt for you.
Why?
It's the same shirt I wore working out. So it's still, just so you know. These are the actual leggings I wore in boot camp. It's too bad you don't have smell-o-vision.
You can't be sitting on the chairs if you have a sweat.
I'm not that sweaty.
If you have swass.
Hold on. Do you want me to go get a towel?
No, and if you're not sweating.
Well.
If you have cushioned chairs, are you allowed to sit on them after you've sweat?
Thanks for keeping the deads. The sweat.
Thanks for
Michelle. There were no deadlifts in today's program.
Michelle, TGIF, Ditterville, happy Friday, Swaz. All right, my friends, let's get going here.
All right, we don't have an official title, huh?
Hello, change Swaz to, yes, our official title is, should I count calories or not?
Oh, okay. And then, so if you guys ever watch...
Just so you know, it's an outstanding no.
No what?
You can't sit on cushioned seats with sweaty butts.
Oh, well, let me go get a towel so you guys don't freak out.
No, just stay there. It's too late.
Hey, I pay the bills around
here. It's
here.
too late now.
Whatever. All right. The pastor of Elevation Church, which we watch quite frequently, he has like 18 different titles for his sermons. So I thought this one was going to be, Do Calories Even Matter?
Do calories even matter?
All right, but I know what we're going about. Either way, whatever. Should you count calories or not? Do calories even matter? The answer is, well, it's just like Coach Roxanne's video she did the other day. What's the secret to success?
And then you have to wink when you say that.
What's the secret to success?
There's no secret.
Okay, so should you count calories? I don't know. It's totally up to you. It's your choice. We're going to probably be all over the board when it comes to this conversation today. But the main premise that I wanted to start off with, and we can kind of take it from there, is counting calories in any form or fashion. Like if you download MyFitnessPal, which is probably the most popular calorie tracking app on the planet right now. If you have a Fitbit, if you have Garmin, I think they're built right in. Roxanne uses something called Chronometer, whatever, any of those, right? That's the same thing as like Weight Watchers. What it all boils down to, it's no different than taking this paper journal I have in front of me and writing something down so I can see what's going literally in my mouth. It's just a matter of accountability. And that is the first step to guiding a client in should I or shouldn't I, is just a matter of accountability.
Right. So Chuck and I think people think that we do everything exactly the same. And a lot of things we do actually the opposite. So I count everything. I weigh things out. I measure things. And I track everything in my tracker. Chuck doesn't do any of that. Occasionally, if he feels like things are not going well, or if he feels like he needs a little bit more accountability, then he'll take an audit and he'll track for a couple of days.
Yeah, so I mean, just if you don't know some of my backstory and some of my history, so like I started my journey at the age of 20. I'm 41 right now. In the very beginning, when I started, I began with a basic program that was based around portion sizes. It wasn't about calorie tracking, but what it was, the program that I did when I was 20 years old, and it's very similar to some of the principles that we have in 21 Tough, which is our 21-day challenge. Here's it. We offer like a cheat sheet, right? We have our green foods, our yellow foods, and our red foods. Same concept of the program, and then that I started 21 years ago. But it was about like the perfect plate, right? Like half of it was vegetables, a quarter of it was carbohydrates, and a quarter of it was protein. And eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, have a protein shake if you want, eat 3 to 5 times per day. Like these are just basic principles. I lost 55 pounds on that program without counting a calorie. So I have gotten crazy success. The very first thing I did, I didn't even count a single calorie. But here are the 2 things I did do. Well, number 1, I journaled. There was a journal in the back of this book, and what I did was I just wrote down what I ate and when I ate it. Now, I would write down like sandwich, 2 slices of bread, 4 slices of lunch meat, cheese, honey mustard, lettuce. Like I would write that down, right? And then it kind of moved into measuring some things because I kind of wanted to know. Like if I had cereal, I probably didn't, but I would like pour out a cup of cereal and a cup of milk, right? It just went to like writing stuff down. Eventually, though, I got into bodybuilding. It was like 5 or 7 years after like I was, 25 or something, 26, something like that. I got into bodybuilding. Now, when I got into bodybuilding, I took myself from like 15% body fat down to about 6% body fat to stand on a stage in my Speedo, right? There are videos on YouTube if you want to see. They're all right. But please don't go and watch this. Anyways, so when I did that though, I had to track every single calorie. My coach would build me a plan based on calories and macronutrients, but I had to track everything. And then I had to send him everything because, and why I'm sharing this with you is, in the very beginning, when we work with our clientele, we want you to have a level of awareness. Like if you don't write it down, you have no idea. Now, if you get to a certain point where you want to level up, honestly, I feel like pure calorie counting and tracking is like a stage 2 or a stage 3.
So I'm going to take you back to when I started my journey. When I started my journey on my path to lose 100 pounds, which I didn't even realize I was capable of losing 100 pounds, I didn't calorie track in the beginning. All I did was I shifted my fast foods and my sugars and things like that to healthier options. I started eating more veggies. I started eating more fruit. I started eating more proteins.
Yep. So that's like stage 1.
Yes. I gave up soda, went to diet soda before I got into my before I got into my gallon of water. Like I did all of that first. And then I started to lose weight. But when I got to more of a goal weight, when I had lost 70, 80 pounds, I could start to see muscle on my body. And that was where, for me, I started to want to dial things in because losing weight and building muscle requires a little bit more data, a little bit more accountability to what you're putting in your body.
There's a very famous business quote by a man named Peter Drucker, very, very famous, consultant, author, and in the area of business, my coach would tell me, and he still tells me and yells at me all the time, and all of us men in this group, you need to know your numbers. Like, he's like super picky. But we are trying to do things like we are trying to accelerate at rapid levels, but we're so hyper focused that like it's incredibly important. And again, this is like level 2, level 3, level 4 kind of stuff, right? Like we're in an accelerated program. I am paying him to kick my butt. But the quote is, what is measured can be managed, right? Or the opposite, what isn't measured cannot be managed. And that was Peter Drucker's quote, and he is a business consultant. So we need to know thy numbers, right? Like we talk about your bank account all the time. The couple dollars you have in your wallet that you frivolously spend, or you throw your credit card or your debit card out to the Starbucks barista and you're like, it's just a coffee. 4 $4 coffees every single week is $16. $16 every week times 4. I don't know, Michelle, you know the numbers, and Jackie, but whatever 16 times 4 is. Do you guys understand this? So this is a way of measuring and managing is incredibly important.
Yes.
There's things about calories though that like we should talk about. Number 1, weighing and measuring. It gets complicated sometimes. Like if you like really fancy recipes, if a calorie count is not associated, the only way you'll ever know is to put all of the ingredients in their raw state in your calorie tracking app and then break it up into the number of servings. I put all 10 ingredients in, it came to 500 calories. I broke it up into 5 servings. It's 100 calories per serving. That's like the only way you're gonna know. If you're just kind of winging it, you can kind of wing it and you can just be like, well, I found this thing in MyFitnessPal and it looks kind of like it's similar. You can do that too, because this is just awareness. But literally, a cup is a cup, a tablespoon is a tablespoon. You need to learn how to weigh and measure. You're going to weigh in grams or ounces, so get yourself a really nice scale. And this is a discipline and an art. Now, I've been doing this for 21 years. Overall, I know what portions look like. But if I'm at a point where I don't like what's looking at me back in the mirror, I start with principle 1, which is, am I consuming things I shouldn't? And I start there. Then I move to principle 2, write that stuff down. Then I move to principle 3, I'm actually going to start plugging things in, or what's called pre-logging, which is I'm going to plan my day before it even happens, and I'm going to plug it in to see if it meets my calories before I even eat them.
Which I do almost every day. I am very much a data nerd when it comes to my calories, and I track my macros to some extent, because the scale doesn't, I'm with you ladies, where the scale doesn't always show you what you want to see.
Be right back.
So I always fall back on, I go back to my data and say, I'm doing exactly what I need to do. Or, you know what, I'm probably not doing exactly what I need to do. And I have that data. I don't go by, I did everything right and now things aren't changing. But also, as I'm getting older, and ladies, we've talked about this before, every decade we start to lose muscle mass. So my goal, I don't want to have more than a 500 to 1,000 calorie deficit, because I want to hang on to as much muscle as I possibly can, which means I need to eat more. I cannot be eating 1,200 calories and burning 3,000. That wouldn't make any sense where I'm at my age and my journey.
So this is one of my favorite snacks. This with like an apple, right? 2 tablespoons is 190 calories. An apple is about 80. Really great way to get 300 calories in, because if you think, I can't get enough calories because I'm eating healthy. Okay, but check it. All right, this is called a tablespoon, right? No, I'm not being like, this is just I've seen this like 1,000 times. Okay. That's not a tablespoon. That's like 2 tablespoons in one. So like, why do I say that? Like legit, right? Like you got to make sure that your measurements, right? And I know you're going to be licking the spoon and like you're going to get these 75 calories in there. Anyways, I'm just kind of telling you guys, and last 10 calories.
I know, I was going to eat the whole spoon.
You want some of that?
No, not right now.
These are things that we need to consider. How do you weigh and measure, to be honest?
Don't let that drip back in there.
It's so good though. All right, so that was about That's about 90
But
calories.
this is very true. Even if you are tracking and you're doing things like that, or like myself, when I, pull the chicken fajitas out of the oven and I'm eating 3 or 4 pieces of chicken, which ends up being an extra ounce or 2, at the end of the day, if you've done that 3, 4, or 5 times, you're probably 500 calories over what you think you've eaten in the day.
And so why I was being so silly with that, okay? We've all done it.
Yes.
We've all done it, right? Like, do you really level that out or not? And be like, I don't want to do it.
I believe there was something the other day I ate, and I said, this is a free one.
Yeah, she did. It was something that I was eating, and she... I had a banana, and she came over and she goes, house! And she's like, oh, well, that's
a free bite.
That's a free bite. Okay, so, but here's the deal, all right? Here's the deal. If that is where you're at right now, okay, and this is like being in integrity and honesty, and like if that's where you're at, it doesn't really pay. You're only lying to yourself. So if you're gonna go through the process of doing Weight Watchers or counting points or counting calories or counting macros or whatever, you need to get really honest with yourself and be like, am I actually following through? Or is it like, I weigh out, a servings of chips is 15, right? We have these blue tortilla chips. A serving is 15 chips or something like that, right? And it's like 150 calories or something. And then you're like, you eat a chip for every 5 you put on the scale. And then, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I get it. It's funny. It's hilarious, right? It's like the people that when you come home from work and you're hungry, you start eating chips and salsa while you're making food, but you don't remember that you ate the chips and salsa because you're so hungry. And then all you do in your journal is just write down the meal that you ate. Like, these are things we have to consider because literally, if it goes in your mouth and it's not water, you need to count it if you are going to be honest in the accountability game. Right.
I had so many things I want to see here. Deanna said, sometimes because I know it's healthier, I don't watch the portions. And then before you know it, I've eaten a 1/4 cup of peanut butter with my apple. And I think a lot of people do that. Or when is the last time you measured out your cheese? So we will cut our cheese and I will actually measure out the ounces.
We cut a lot of cheese around here.
But it's so easily, you could eat 6, 7, 8 ounces of cheese and not think twice about it and log an ounce. So you're talking 5, 6, 7, 800 calories more because you don't really know what some of those servings are like. And we think it's just cheese.
Yeah.
It's just cheese. It's 100 calories an ounce, where an ounce is like, it's like this much. It's not much. It's not much. Lori, I hate to sound but this is my nemesis. How do you figure out what your calorie count should be for a day?
Well, we'll answer that in a second.
We will,
We knew that question was coming.
Yes, that stands for BLTs. Bites, licks, and tastes. I like that.
All right, no more BLTs.
No more BLTs. Or if you have your BLTs, what if you had to log 100 calories per BLT, per bite, per lick, per taste? 100 calories.
Yeah, so guys, like calorie counting, I would say like the most industry experts that we consult with, talk to, share with, they would probably all say the same thing, which is when you're tracking calories, they can probably be off anywhere from 5 to 10% of what you're tracking, right? So like for every, now Michelle, you know I'm really good with numbers. So if I'm tracking 2,000 calories and off by 10%, that's 200 calories, right?
Give or take.
Give or take. So I'm probably, if I put 200 in my phone, on the low end, I could be at 1,800. On the high end, I could be like 22. And that's for a couple reasons. Number one, did we weigh and measure properly? Number two, were we sneaking bites? Number three, if we're doing a recipe, is the recipe accurate? Number D, maybe you went out to eat. You have no idea how they made that food. Now, I'm not discouraging you from tracking if you go out. You go to Texas Roadhouse or something like that. I have a steak. I have a sweet potato. I don't know, broccoli. I don't know if it's been in butter,
but
in oil.
90% of the time, we're underestimating what we're logging or what we think we ate. We underestimate
and
that number.
that's a human thing, right? Because like, well, I think that was like 4 ounces. And then you were like, oh, it was 6. So to get to Lori's question, the majority of people that come into our world, I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
Nope.
The majority of the people, maybe this is you, that come into our world, maybe you're learning, you're hearing us for the very first time, or you've been with us for 21 days, whatever, like maybe you've been with us for 7, 8 years. But when most people come into our world to begin with, it's a weight loss conversation or a fat loss conversation. That's typically where it's at. Eventually, we get to a maintenance conversation. And some people want to talk specifically about muscle building. Some people want to talk about performance. Deanna's husband, he took up running this year. He just did a 50K.
Yep.
He did 33 miles. That's a performance conversation. All of these conversations, fat loss, maintenance, muscle gain, performance. These are 4 separate conversations, male to female, how much you weigh, all play into this factor, right?
Whether or not you're menopausal also plays into that factor.
Yep, or hypothyroidism, hyper. I mean, a lot of these things. So, but just let's talk about general stuff here, right? So this is kind of the recommendation. You'll see industry standard. This is stuff we've already coached. If you are looking for weight loss, specifically fat loss calories, okay, and we'll say weight loss first because fat loss gets a little bit more into macros, but calories wise, we would say somewhere in the range of 9 on the low end, and I'm not an advocate for 9 calories. 9 to about as high, to about 13, 14 calories per pound of body weight. So like, how do you do this? All right, let's just say you weigh 150 pounds. You would take 150 times 9, and that's the low side. And then you take 150 again, and you'd multiply it times 14. These are your weight loss calories from low to high. And this is also based off how much movement you get. If you are sedentary, if you sit all day and you barely do much of anything, you don't get out and do walks, you aren't even really working out yet, you're going to probably be on that 9, 10, 11 scale. If you're active, if you're moving, this is a conversation we've talked about where if you are exercising, you need to eat more. So then you're going to be more on the 11, 12, 13, 14 calories per pound of body weight, right? 15 is kind of a break point. 15 to 18 calories is going to be roughly around what maintenance would be. So I weigh 200 pounds. So I take 200 times 15. That's my base for maintenance. 200 pounds times 18. That's a little bit more towards the high end of maintenance. Again, this range gives me room to work, knowing that on days where I'm not so busy doing stuff, probably more to the 15. Days that me and her are doing workouts and walking and etc., probably closer to the 18, 19, 20 calories per gram mark.
And it can change by day. You have to be willing to be able to go with that flow. If you have a day where you don't do anything and your goal is 1,400, great, eat the 1,400 calories. If you have a day where you're burning 3,000 calories or more than one day, you do need to eat a little more. Those kind of deficits are not good for you in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to make this even more simplified, the low end of a weight loss would just be take your body weight times 10. Just do that. 150 pound female times 10 is 1,500 calories. Bam. Like, just set that as your goal.
And yes, that means a 180 pound female is 1,800 calories. If you
weight
weigh
loss
200
calories.
pounds, it's 2,000 calories. It is. And I know those numbers freak people out, but it only freaks us out because of everything we used to see on the magazine covers, or we used to be coached, but that isn't how people are coaching anymore. If you have somebody who's really dialed into what nutrition coaching is all about for women, men, menopausal, all of that, they're not going to tell you to go eat 1,200 calories.
And I mean, disclaimer here, again, this isn't an exact science, and this is why calories for some people isn't always the best answer, but women, females, ladies on here, I strongly urge you, unless you are working with a professional that has specifically outlined you what these numbers need to be, we would recommend not getting any lower than 1,200 calories ever.
Ever.
And ideally, I'd like to see that probably closer to 1,300 to 1,400, but under 12 should never happen. In my opinion, unless you are being guided by a professional and they have specifically set something up for you and gave you a reason. Don't just take advice from somebody because they say so.
Right.
Dig, ask questions.
If there's something we're saying and you question it, go do some research. Don't take our word for gospel.
If someone's like, you should be eating 800 calories. I'd be like, okay, cool, I get it. Now, can you please explain to me why? I would really run me through it. Explain to me specifically why you're having me eat this, because I'm just, whatever. I want to know. Don't just, if somebody just says, go spend your money here, be like, okay, what do you want to tell me why? Like, I want to know what my ROI is going to be on this.
So this is a conversation. Honestly, we're going to cut it off. It's been 21 minutes, but this is a conversation. We could go on and on. We've done a live in for our members already. We'll probably do another because there's so many questions around calories and whether or not I should track or not track. But take what we've told you today. Hopefully you can work with that, and hopefully you don't realize that you have to do one thing or the other. We gave you the pros and cons as to what might work for you. Lori, this chat is so helpful. Good. I'm so happy to hear that.
So just my last parting words too is there are two things that you need to consider in the game. One is quantity and the other is quality.
Which, yes, we didn't even talk about.
They're like intermingled and entwined like this. Quantity and quality, what you eat, when you eat, how much you eat of it, they're so closely related that you should always be considering both.
Right.
And there are multiple ways to do this. So just remember, we go all the way back to 21 minutes ago when we started. First phase, as Coach Roxanne said, focus on the healthy stuff. Second phase, just start journaling. Third phase, maybe now we start auditing with some type of calorie counting and more extensive tracking.
Maeda, anytime I cut my calories below 1,300, I do not lose any weight.
Crazy, right?
And I'll tell you, the older you get, the more stress that dieting like that starvation dieting causes your body. And your body will hang on to everything, and it will probably hang on to everything in your midsection to protect its organs. As you get older, you might notice that crazy workout, they stress your body out more and you think, I should be losing weight. I'm working out harder. It does the opposite. So we have to learn how to relax, eat more calories, and not beat our body. But again, we could go on and on about this. Maybe next Friday.
I don't know. Anyways, guys, I do hope you found this helpful. It was really fun chatting with you. It doesn't even feel like it's been 23 minutes. So, guys, this is awesome.
Join us tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. on the fan page for our Twin Towers workout.
Yep.
Coach Jackie's going to be in the house with us. You don't want to miss it.
All right. Well, we hope to see you tomorrow. If not, enjoy your weekend, guys. Much love to you all. You'll be back with Coach Roxanne on Monday. I'll be back with you noon, but we do hope to see you tomorrow. So, overall, either see you tomorrow, see you Monday.
All right, my friends, have a great weekend.
See ya.